Dewo. Good morning to all of you. Happy Mothering Sunday. In Africa, in Europe, it's Mothering Sunday. And we just wanted to give a little shout out to all the wonderful mothers out there, because without you, life is a little bit bleaker. So thank you for all that you do. We are certainly glad that you're able to join us, for those of you who are mothers. If you're here with us, as of your wherever you may be, may all go well for you. That's what I hope for you. Some of you have your mothers who are still alive, and some of you may have lost your mothers, and I certainly fall into the category of those who lost their mothers. My darling mother, Chief Ngozi Onyoha, she's going to be buried very soon. And but today is kind of emotional for us. So if you don't mind, myself, my brother, DB Ochoaja, UD, we want to take just one moment just to remember our mother. May she rest in power. She was a powerful woman. She was the brain. With my dad, they worked diligently to make sure that African people realize that their spirituality is just as relevant as anyone else's. It was never about substituting our spirituality with someone else's, substituting also other people's religions with ours. Spirituality with ours. It's always about making sure that we understand that there's nothing wrong with ourselves, because in so doing, you actually take stock in who you are and you invest in who you are. So thank you, all of you, for joining us today. I'm going to thank Nosferatu. Thank you for being here. Certainly, Kunna Charles, thank you. For those of you who are joining us on African Spirituality or Chiism Live, we welcome you to this beautiful program. I am your Dr. Owonyo Hosimiri, OKDB, Dr. Owonyo Hosimiri, and I'm your host, as you can see. And this is our forum, our internet talking space for the Global Faith Ministries of Chiism, a ministry of the Godian religion founded by Ahaike Oke Onyoha, our darling father, who has since joined the ancestors. It is my pleasure to welcome you, and I ask you to please remember, last time we talked about donating to our Obasioha. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but subscribe to African Spirituality, Chiism Live on YouTube. Want you to subscribe. We want to get to, we're almost at 100. We started that push, and now we want to go beyond that. So please go there. And Chiism Live on YouTube, African Spirituality, Chiism Live on YouTube. Go there and subscribe if you have not done so already. Also, please follow us on Chiism Live on Facebook. Chiism Live on Facebook. You can also follow us on Facebook, Global Faith Ministries of Chiism Godianism on Facebook. And, we're very proud of what we've achieved with the calendar, africancalendar.org. You need to go there and find out the calendars that we are marketing in promotion of African culture and traditions, particularly the calendaring system of Africa. So anyway, welcome to the show. And I want to introduce to you now, present my co-host, DB Ochoaja, UD Onyoha. UD Ndewo.
Ndewo, as Akachi Azubike would say, Kawono. I'm just looking at it, and it's really interesting that we've come this far, where darling brothers and sisters in diaspora who are trying to reconnect are not only reconnected, by their patronage, but also the way they communicate. They're embodying and embracing every aspect of our culture and language. And for me, that's really powerful. And it's a feather to in our cap, in our attempt to unite all diasporans and Africans on the continent to have one spiritual focus, a level of cultural consistency that is needed in building this powerful nation of ours. So kudos to everyone for being part of this great awakening.
Yes, indeed. Let me take this moment and also welcome Dr. Simone Monet. Welcome, Doctor. How are you?
Hello, Doctor.
Very well.
And, how you doing?
Very good. And I just give a shout out to all of the mothers out there on this very special day. And yes. I would like to say, rest in power, Your Excellency, for your mother. And I know that she's here. And I just would like to say again, rest in power in establishing this. So I would just like to give homage to her and all of the mothers that are here and that have transcended or have moved on.
Yes, thank you. There's an African song that goes, "You do please." I hope you don't mind. I'm kind of emotional this morning.
Oh, please have at it.
There's a song that goes, "Nemo Nemo ezigbo nemu ye. Nemo Nemo ezigbo nemu ye. Nemo Nemo ezigbo nemu ye. Biko chukwu dadi gozie nemu nye ya ọnọdụ ọma. Nemu mama ọ bụkwa nemu ye. Nemu jonjo ọ bụkwa nemu ye.
Ezioka.
Anya akpọ nne m ọ bụkwa nne m ye. Biko chukwu dadi gọzie nne m nye ya ọnọdụ ọma.
Ise o.
Gọzie ochie dike mama o. Chukwu gọzie nne m o. Nne m o. Ochie dike nne m. My mother, please, God bless my mother. If she's blind, she's still my mother. Whatever is wrong with her, she's still my mother. Please bless my noble mother. And so it is for all of you who are mothers. Dr. Simona, mother of 3, God bless you. My sister-in-law, who is a mother of 4, my other sister-in-law, who's a mother of, we're all mothers. All the mothers out there, we give you our love and we thank you for all that you do. I would like to add to the stream Dibia Chia Dozier. Dibia. Oh, check that hat out. You kick it. Hey.
You may be like, oh, the kid got go. Oh, God, for the ancestors. Oh, God, for ancestors. Right. He's been to the ancestral world. He's come back. He's got a story to tell.
Power here is erratic, off and on. So please, bear with me.
We're
I have to run to the office back home. And I'm back home too. The power supply is erratic. So I'm trying to use my laptop. I may go off anytime.
Oh, okay. We understand. We'll accommodate any mishaps and glitches, so to speak. So it's all good.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. And I would like all of us, not just because today's a special day, but because all of us are walking amongst the living today. And I just want, wherever you are, to just be quiet for a moment. And if you don't all mind muting your phone, muting your mics, and if need be, I will go ahead and do it, because we don't want, this is a time for us to pray, so we want everything to be quiet at this time. So wherever you are, I'm going to pray in Igbo first, and then I'll pray in English. I interpret it in English. It's so important that we honor our ancestors by offering our prayers in Igbo. And then for those who don't understand Igbo, and of course, if you speak in Yoruba or Hausa, you can always interpret it for yourself. But for those who don't speak my language, I will interpret it so you know what I've just said. But in the meantime, in honor of my ancestors, I pray. Obasi dielu. Ekekere ụwa ka eluigwe. Amadionha. Oke osisi na-enye ndụ. Dike na-agwọ ndị ọrịa. Anya na-ahụ n'ihe niile. Mkpaka anyị ji eje ije. Ọbata obie. Agụ na-eche mba. Akwa kwuru. Anyị na-ekele gị n'ụtụtụ a, biko onye anyị, onye kere anyị, onye nye anyị ndụ. Biko anyị na-asị gị nye anyị mma taa. Ka ụbọchị anyị niile bụrụ ihe. Chineke anyị na-arịọ gị ka ihe ọbụla niile anyị kpatụrụ aka taa ka ọ bụrụ sọ mma. Ka ụwa niile site n'aka Chiism, aka Godianism, aka ndị niile na-ekpere gị na-akpọku gị n'omenala ha. Anyị na-arịọ gị ike Chineke nyere anyị aka. Ụwa niile si n'aka anyị were hụ ihe site ugbu a ruo mgbe niile ebighị ebi. Ma ụtụtụ, ma ogere, ma abalị. Ma eke, ma nkwọ, ma afọ, ma orie. Ihe niile anyị na-arịọ gị Chineke, anyị na-arịọ gị ka nyere anyị aka ka ọ bụrụ ka ọ gaa n'ihu. Ife ọbụla anyị kpọtụkwa ha aka Chineke, anyị na-arịọ gị biko tọọ gị ogu nzu. Ndị ahụ adịghị Chineke biko nyere wa aka tọọ dịwa mma. O nweghị ife ị ga-agwọsa. Ọ ya mere ji akpọgo dike na-agwọ ndị ọrịa. Onye ọbụla dara ada Chineke a na-asị gị bulise ya. Ekwetụkwa ka o duga ala. Ma ọkpa adịghị ya ga-ebulie ya. Ga-abụrụ ọkpa ya. Ma aka adịghị ya ga-abụrụ aka ya. Ma isi adịghị ya ma ga-abụrụ isi ya. Chineke ọ gị ka anyị na-arịọ. Ekwetụkwa ka ife ọbụla ma anyị. Ekwela ka ifere ime anyị. Tọbụkwa ahụ mma bụ ife anyị hara afụ Chineke. Our great creator, the creator of the heavens and earth, the joy of humanity, the great tree that gives shade, the doctor that cures all ills, the eye that sees everything, the walking stick for the disabled, the divine that ends all troubles, the lion that protects the village, unshakable spirit. We greet you this morning. We ask for your unlimited blessings today. Let every way of our lives be light and all our acts be crowned with good. May the world prosper by the ministry of those who acknowledge and recognize who they are, their cultures, their traditions. For those of us who are not able to walk, be our legs. Those who have no arms, be their arms. Those who can't think for them. Don't allow shame to be upon us. Wherever we go, let all that we touch turn into gold. All this goodness we ask in your mighty name, Chineke, Yagazie, Hofo, and so it is.
So
I hope you felt that prayer.
I'm so connected right now. I can't take it. It got to my soul because, as I mentioned to you before the show started, all I thought about today was Mom when I got up this morning. Of course, I thought about you. You know, you remind me a lot about Mom. And I just thought about, you know, all her jokes and how she made us laugh and how we got into Miriam Makeba. Mm-hmm. I told you about that. And I just about sang every Miriam Makeba song that I could remember this morning. Mm-hmm. So you remind me of Noah. So even though Mom is not here anymore with us in flesh, but every time I look at you, Ogele, it reminds me that her soul is still alive. And I just take heart in that you and I have embarked on this journey. We're online, we're out here in the world, we're trying to make a difference. And we thank Dibia Chigozie and Dr. Ajamu, you know, for being part of this family. And happy Mother's Remembrance Day, or whatever today is to you, Dr. Ajamu. And let's just get out here and educate the world and bring them back to what spirituality really is all about, which is love.
Yes. Well, I'm going to, before I bring all of you in, I just want to share what this program is about today. Ezioku, truth. UD, you always say truth is always the first casualty. We as a people, we need to begin to understand the importance of believing in truth, of not holding on to lies. Chineke is truth. Let's start with that. Olodumare is truth. Ubangiji is truth. Nyame is truth. Uvuzilele is truth. Ukulunkulu is truth. Jinyami is truth. Allah is truth. Whatever you call, whatever name you have for God is truth. God, English language, is truth. But the point of the matter is, whose report shall you believe? Whose truth is the truth? Truth is therefore found in anything that's written in accordance to what your understanding of Chineke is, of God is. That's the truth. But it doesn't preempt other people's truth. There's nobody's truth that's sweeter than someone else's truth. What is the purpose of us believing our truth? Because it's power. Truth is your power. Truth is what supports freedom. Freedom builds your character. Your character builds pride. Your pride breeds self-determination. Self-determination kills struggle. Struggle is the opposite of success. Success is crowned by survival. Truth is the willingness to become free, to develop yourself personally, to self-define, and it gives you the ability to shrug off obstacles and challenges, to keep standing until you reach the pinnacle of self-determination or success. Truth is important. For you to be able to live amongst your fellow man without fear and without abandon, you must understand truth. You cannot buy into lies. Lies demeans your intellect. The denial of truth makes you perpetually weak. When you are educated, supposedly, but you spew lies, you're ignorant. Never assume that little paper that you have means that you're knowledgeable. It doesn't. It doesn't if you don't adhere to the principles of Ma'at, truth. It is more than a mental exercise. This is Thurgood Marshall, the U.S. Supreme Court Justice, who's now an ancestor. It's not just a mental exercise. Truth is not a joke, so says K.O.K. Onyoha. Our minds are in eternal search for truth. It is this truth that allows us, that encourages us to read, to be in certain company, to learn as much as is possible, so we can understand who we are. We understand our environment. We understand our world. Each and every single day, we are asked to be just a little bit wiser, a little bit smarter, how we deal with the world. Whose report are you believing? Who's telling you truth? The truth will never reveal itself to us as African people, as long as we are busy soaking up lies and garbage fed to us on a golden plate, and we absorb it as if it's something relevant. The lies that we are told, the chatter that we listen to, refers us to what people want you to know, not what you should know. Chineke is truth. So you have to ask, what is your understanding of Chineke? The mental babble that we listen to and believe as real is the reason why personally we will never grow, and collectively we always will be in the valley. The only way to find truth is to go deep within ourselves, look into ourselves, look into our cultures, look into our people, look into the eyes of our elders, and find an consciousness and understanding necessary so that you can define your own truth. Anybody who tells you that Chineke is in the sky somewhere is lying to you. Anybody who tells you that you are not what Chineke made you to be is lying to you. Truth is the reality of who we are. Each time we deny our truth, we deny Chineke. Each time we deny our truth, we deny our fathers, we deny our mothers, we deny our elders, we deny our leaders, we deny, most importantly, ourselves. Stop allowing people to lie to you. Right where you are, Chineke is. And if you know that, and if you believe that, I'm not going to fight with Dr. Chiadozie for whatever he believes, because I know if God is in me, Chineke in me, Chineke is in him too. Same thing with Dr. Monet. Same thing with Okedibia. Same thing with anybody that we come across. Don't diminish yourself by accepting that Chineke is with that other person and not with you. You will always be in the valley. If I believe nothing you touch will go where it's supposed to go, because your mind is not right. Yudi, take your word.
Very powerful observations, okay, Dibia. So let me get back to the truth that you are talking about. In Igbo, we say, Eziokwu bund, right? Truth is life. Life is really based on truth. It is what you do with it that causes the conflict that we have in the world today. I'm a Chiist, and this is a global faith ministry of Chiism. And Chiism aims to give the world spiritual balance, promotes universal unity of humanity under the parenthood of one God, Chineke, to promote mutual understanding, mutual respect, mutual toleration, love, peace among all religions of the world, in order to bring to an end violence and intolerance in the religious front and also politically, and give humanity everlasting peace in the world without arms and without wars. This is what Chiism is really all about. This is our mission, and this is what we're tasked with, to promote universal unity amongst all humans. This is really what it's all about, being spiritual, as opposed to just sticking to religious doctrines that really are designed to dominate others, using religion to dominate other cultures. That's part of the truth that we're talking about. When you talk about truth, one of the truths of religion is the idea that through religious doctrines, you get to dominate others for one thing and one thing only: power and economic opportunities. It's happening all over the world right now. It's not a recent phenomenon, right? In the Nicene Council 325 AD, this specific journey as far as Abrahamic religions started, by Constantine at the Nicene Council. That's when Christianism was really established. But I'm not going to go into those, the history of Christianism or Islam or any other world religion. One thing we do know, as far as religion is concerned or spirituality is concerned, 80% of all spiritual behaviors and beliefs have one thing in common: they believe in a supreme being. Mm-hmm. So what I want to focus on right now is about truth. And one of the most important truths to me as a Chiist is the Chiist or Godian creed. And this has nothing to do with commandments. Thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not kill, blah, 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 blah. These are commandments designed to control your behavior so that we're not all running around here, stepping into somebody else's boundaries and causing chaos and mayhem, disunity and strife amongst all people. So let me talk about some truths that most world religions, I didn't say all, because spirituality and religion means different things to different people. But as a consensus, we all understand that most world religions believe in the supreme being, and we do whatever we feel that is necessary to appease that being in the hopes of being blessed, having things go well in our lives, and living a fruitful life. One of the truths of Chiism is the belief in the Almighty Chineke, the creator of the heavens and the earth, as our source of inspiration, strength, and protector. All religions believe that. That's the truth. And we all have to recognize that. We have to recognize the fact that most religions in the world have the same belief in a supreme being. And most people, most religions, most cultures will tell you that this supreme being, Chineke, Olodumare, Ubangiji, Yahweh, Allah, whatever you call this creator, is responsible for all creation, the heavens and the earth. The earth includes the animals, the air that we breathe, the land we stand on, the seas and the waters and the valleys, all life-sustaining forces that reside under the sun. Is something that is common among all religions, and we believe that the creator created that. So that is a truth that is common among all cultures, and that is one of the reasons for religion or spiritual behavior in the first place. So we have that in common. Another truth is we believe in the universal brotherhood and sisterhood of all humans under the parenthood of one God. We all believe that. We believe that God created everything. Created the roses, created the animals, created the trees, created the waters. We all believe that. That's the truth. In fact, every culture believes that something created all living things. So whether you call the creator Chineke, you call the creator Ubangiji, you call the creator whatever you want to call the creator, God of many names, we're still talking about the same supreme being. That's the truth. Another truth that we all have in common is the belief that every human being consciously or unconsciously looks up to something above themselves as their source of inspiration, and that something is the Almighty Chineke, the Almighty God. That is the truth. That's a commonality amongst all nations, amongst all religions, regardless of what the supreme being means to you. Another truth is that we believe that the Almighty Chineke, God, has made the world a paradise of happiness for all humans, but that we have made the world hell for ourselves by too much quarrels with our fellow humans over methods of God worship. And if it's not over methods of God worship, it's over economics, it's over something. And it's not a recent phenomenon. This has been going on for many moons, for centuries, for thousands of years. So there's really nothing that we're experiencing today that has not been in existence since the dawn of civilizations. That is another truth that we have to realize. Another truth is that we believe that the kingdom of heaven and earth shall come when we all learn to quarrel no more with our fellow man or our fellow humans over differences and methods of God worship. Regardless of what you call the creator, it's still the same thing. A tree, osisi, has another name in another language. Mado, a human being, has another name in another language. Oche, the chair that you sit on, has another name in another language. Everything that you experience in this world that you give a name to has an equivalent in another language. The truth is we have everything in common. We express it differently, but we have everything in common. Here's another truth. They believe that religious concepts are inspired by people who desire to offer thanks to the Creator for Chineke's goodness to humanity. That's what spiritual behavior and the etymology of religion is all about. Let me explain something about religion. Religion is not about Christianity, Islam, Chiism, Godianism, Baha'u'llah, Buddhism, Hinduism. That's not what those are. Religious philosophies designed to help us walk in the mystery of the Almighty Creator. Religion simply means, in its etymology, in its bare essence, a duty that we all feel compelled to perform in reverence to something greater than ourselves, and that something is the Almighty Chineke. The moment man and woman realized that they were not responsible for life sustaining forces, the air that they breathe, the plants they eat, the waters that they drink, the fish in the ocean, the moment they realized that they were not responsible for this life sustaining forces and ascribed it to something greater than themselves, religion became automatic in them. That's what religion means. Buddhism and Shintoism and Taoism and all that stuff are just philosophies that are designed to help us walk through the mystery of God. And here's one final truth, not all of them, but it is the belief that there is no sense in quarreling with our fellow humans over religious doctrines or belief methods of God worship which differ from my own. The idea is that no matter what you do in reverence to the Almighty Chineke, you're doing it to satisfy the common purpose of thanksgiving to the Almighty God. That's why we all do it. That's why a Buddhist goes to the temple. That's why the Christian goes to his church. That's why the Muslim goes to the mosque. That's why the Chiis go to the Obiobasi. We all do it in reverence to something greater than ourselves. That something is the Almighty Chineke, and that is the truth that we must all understand so that we could live in peace with our fellow human beings and be a little bit more tolerant in our relationship with our neighbors.
That's right. Thank you so much. I want to take this moment to introduce to you Ichie. Ichie Onyoha. Ichie is the head of Godian religion in Nigeria. So what a pleasure and honor to have him here. Ichie Kao.
Ichie Kao, nice to see you.
It's been so busy.
Oh, this is so good. Nice to see you. Okay, man, Kao. The audio.
Thank you all very much for having me on the show.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Now, what I want to do is, because you know how difficult Dibia Chiedozie and Dr. Simona, just please bear with us because where he is, it's so difficult with internet. So we'll give him a chance to speak first so that if we lose him, yes, it'll be okay because you guys are going to be the next to speak. So Ichie, Gawo, I'm going to ask you to please, we're talking about truth, the importance, the relevance of believing in truth, at least from our own cultural perspective. I need your input there.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, it's okay. I just wanted
Hello?
you to be, I just wanted you to be able to be heard. So when we have many people in, it's hard to hear you. So go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Now you were talking about truth.
Yeah.
Truth is quite it's an abstract understanding, really. The truth is what you actually believe. That can become truth for you, regardless of the perspective, some other perspective from some other place. But truth is more or less like, you can say truth is universal. It's just like in religion, where you have the absolutes of religions. You know, religions that teach the same thing: love your neighbor as you love yourself, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. All these are universal truths, and they're termed as the absolutes of religions, because every religions teach these same truths, so to speak. That makes religions, like I heard Traja Yudi stating that religions are more or less are the same all over. They are teaching the same thing, even though representative of whatever culture they come from. So basically, truth is universal, and all religions teach the same thing. So those are the terms are it's termed as the absolutes of religion. The same truths are taught by each and every religion, regardless of what vehicle that you use to convey those truths, be it in terms of language, the different cultures, and because cultures in the first place, I look at culture from the prism of, let's say that God in infinite wisdom gave us all these different ways of expressing ourselves, of expressing the same universal truth, but in different ways. Still, at the end of the day, we all arrive at the same understanding of what that truth is about. So I'll just say, to make a long story short, that truth is universal.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And now I'm going to ask Chiedozie to make his own comments about truth.
Good afternoon, all. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, for me, for my background of philosophy, truth is problematic. It's like talking about knowledge. We, in philosophy, we talk about the problem of knowledge and the problem of truth, the problem of being. Why is it a problem? It's a problem because by the constitution of the human mind, we are not configured to see the same thing the same way. We are bound to see things from perspectives. So the question arises, is there the truth? The truth that everybody must be subjected to, since I discover the truth all by my personal conviction, my self-conviction. And we want to tie facts or evidence, which could be by experience, that I experience God's revelation. It is my experience, and no other person experienced it. And even though that experience occurred to 1,000 of us, we may not experience it the same way. One, because our backgrounds may not be the same, our upbringing may not be the same, our level of objectivity may not be the same. And so, even when revelation comes, interpretation matters. And then our mental lenses also matter. Like I would say, there are three basic ways of seeing the world. One is monism, by which we say we want to reduce truth to one and only one way of seeing. It is in that way that someone will say, there is no God but Allah. Islam is the final point of revelation. So meaning that Islam, it is truth and the seal of the truth. And it's by that way that you say, democracy is the best form of government, and no other system of government can offer us good governance except democracy. This is pure monism. We say Christ is the only way. There are other ways, but they are yaya ways. The only and original way is the Christ way. All these are monism, and it leads to reductionism. And the problem is that they fuel acrimony, they fuel temperament of acrimony, the temperament of disagreement, bitterness that leads to crisis. That is the bane of the world today. The other one is dualism, by which you grant two ways, but of the two ways you say one way is superior to another. That also leads to reductionism. Neither of these is the way of Chiism, because Chiism comes from the African soul, the African understanding. So the African way, the African understanding, African spirituality is that yes, it is one reality, but we are not bound as mad human beings to see this one universal reality from exactly the same perspective. That is why us my way of seeing is not your way of seeing. But like Osadibe will say, Odi asks in Okwu that you see what I've seen differently, we should reach an agreement. That's why there should be dialogue. So we say it's one reality, but many ways to God. So that's why we say we are plural taste. One God, but many ways of approaching it. That same God, that same reality. How do we now see the truth amongst all this spirituality, amongst all this religion? Like you have said, as a wine, Dibia, like you have said, Ichie has said, Dr. Demezier has said, when we look at all the religions and all the spirituality, none say that you should dishonor God. None say adultery is good. None say you should covet your neighbor's property. None says that stealing is good. None says that telling lies is good. Whatever the Ten Commandments stated, Matt has stated in ancient Egypt long ago. Our ancestors have stated in Ezioku, like in Yoruba. We have stated it. So we see from different perspectives. These perspectives are just mediums, they are parameters, methodologies for assessing the same reality. At the end of the day, the mentality for assessing the reality must be that there must be discipline, there must be rules. And these rules, wherever reason appears, it is always going to resonate discipline, uh, uh, steadfastness, commitment, trust, honesty, transparency. So once all these ingredients are there, then we are ready as human beings to cooperate and live in harmony with one another. And so that is why lie is the opposite of truth. Because lies comes in, perversion comes in, every other thing, falsification comes in, falsifying things, deliberately twisting things to suit one personal agenda comes in. To sum up, wherever the truth comes, there's selflessness. Wherever there's the truth, we want to bring harmony. And wherever we want to go personal. Whenever we want to be mischievous, we bring in lies to distort. That's my own simple way of understanding.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, now Dr. Simona Monet, please, what are your thoughts? There's a video I'm going to show after she speaks that tells you exactly what happens when we don't believe in truth. Go ahead, Dr. Simone.
Well, I look at truth as, it's a divine part of all of us. I believe that everyone has a part of Chineke within inside of them. And I would just like to stop because I would like to thank Chineke for allowing me to be here. I would also like to thank my ancestors, and again, to thank all of the mothers and all that are here and all that has transcended. And so I wanted to stop for that. But coming from a perspective, I've always had the gift of foresight. I've always been able to see, and I have a certain connection. And the truth is when that divine connection that all of us have to Chineke, and that is truth. If we stay on the path of Chineke, we will stay on the path of truth. And so if we stay on that path, it doesn't matter if, you know, if you are, you know, what religious path that you're on, or what religious, you know, what religion you're following. There is a commonality to truth within inside of that. So you can be, you know, in different religions and have, from my experience, the same spiritual experiences. You can be from different traditions and have the same spiritual experiences. For instance, I was, you know, in my learning of the energy, the healing arts, energy. I was learning, I was in a class, it's called chronic healing. I'm trained in what is called chronic healing, which is a energy healing modality from, you know, derived from India. And so in that class, it just happened that there were people from all different religions, walks and religions there. And one thing that began to happen to me, and I couldn't understand it, was I would have these real beautiful smells would come into the room. I would be asleep, I would wake up with these beautiful smells in the room. And so I didn't understand that until I took, and no one that I knew had that experience until I went to this particular training, and there was people of different religions. We were all different religions that had that same experience. We were in the class, and again, the fragrance came in the room. And I asked the instructor, I said, have you ever experienced that? And he said, yes, I've experienced that. Then there was other people that were in that room, different religions, that had experienced the same exact thing. So when we're lined up with truth, it doesn't matter the name that you call Chineke, or the name, or if you refer to God or Olodumare, or however you refer to Chineke. When you're lined up with truth, you are in alignment. To me, it's more like alignment with the divine. And so that's how I pretty much look at truth.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. You know, one of the things that I know for a fact that's destructive,
Gotedo, Lagos State, where a dispatch rider was caught with a live baby in his dispatch box. From what we know, it was said that the dispatch rider was heading to dispatch the package he had in his box. However, somewhere in Shangotedo, there was traffic, and the traffic held the driver at the spot. That was when people started hearing a baby cry.
Hello, are we still going?
Yeah, we're still here. Long pause. She was trying to play a video, and I think the video got frozen. You know, so she's probably, you know, trying to mitigate that. And as soon as she's done, she'll come back. But meanwhile, okay, there she is.
You know, I wanted to, and that's what happens sometimes when I bring in these videos. Unfortunately, they just disrupt everything. And but the video I wanted to share with you, as I indicated earlier, what happens when we start believing in the truth, when we start being lied to, and is the video is showing a gentleman who had a box. Okay, he gets into this bus in the you know, where the place that you get transportation and all that sort of thing, motor park, you know. And so he has this box in his hand, and people are listening, and people are hearing the sound of a child. They're hearing a baby crying, and it was coming from that box. And they kept asking him, "What is that? What is that noise we're hearing?" And everybody's looking around to find where is the child's voice coming from. So they snatched the box. When they realized it was coming from that box, they snatched it from him, only to find that tucked in this box is a baby, a child that he had kidnapped for rituals, believing that taking the life of this child and taking some parts of this child is going to make money. There are many, many reasons that they do that. The rituals is part of it. When people believe in lies, when they believe when somebody tells you if you do certain things and you don't investigate and you're not curious enough to know if it's true or not, you get engaged in these things. There are many people who actually will go to a priest will take them to the river and have them naked, standing in the river praying, money, 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 money. What kind of madness is that? This is when you're not aware that truth is not outwardly. Truth comes from you. You need to find your truth. You need to know your truth. And you must be curious when somebody comes and tells you something, and they tell you it has to do with Chineke. They tell you it has to do with the Creator. You need to be able to think. Now, this man was arrested. So you can imagine what happened to him. There are many people right now who are believing in the lies that if you do certain things, wealth will come to you. You can't get rich if you don't work for it. There's no such thing as manna from heaven. You have to work for it. If somebody comes and tells you, listen, give me 100, I have prayed on this water. Let me pray on this water. You give me 3 million naira. I pray in this water. And you will be rich tomorrow. And I'll sprinkle that water on you and tell you to say money, 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 and you get money. So I sit back and watch, okay, now I'm watching it because I'm going to tell you something. If that money comes, I'm going after it. Forget you. You can stand there and wait. I'll be ready with my bag. If money is going to come to you just because this man prayed in it, I'm waiting. I want some of that money. But that's not how it works. Chineke expects you to work for whatever you want. Nothing comes to you without work. That's not how Chineke works. There's nothing that's going to be given to you. But we believe in the lies of miracles, the miracle of things happening without work, the miracle of things happening just because we want it. You can't wish anything into existence. Yudi.
Yeah. You can't. As a matter of fact, I'm going to, they'll say, DBL Charger UD has come again, right? I take you into the deep water, and hopefully you know how to swim so you can get the heck out of it, right? Opposites. Everything has an opposite. Now, here's the shocker, and here's part of the truth. Sometimes opposites are part of a divine plan. Right? We all believe that Chineke, created everything. Godians believe it. We Godians, Chiists, we believe that stuff. Christians, Buddhists, we all believe it. We all believe that Chineke created everything in this world, that everything that was created has a purpose. We all believe that.
Yes.
But some of that purpose is a little bit uncomfortable. One of them is death. It's something terrible. It's bad. You don't want to lose a loved one. You'd rather be alive, right? Yeah, but death is necessary for rejuvenation, to reduce overcrowding.
Say it again.
Somebody got to die. We all got to die. Nobody lives forever. If you read the Bible, they'll tell you Adam and Eve ate the apple, and because they ate the apple, now we're dying. They tell you about Methuselah, people that live to be 800 years old, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's a question to the audience, to everybody out there. What if Adam didn't eat the apple? Eve didn't eat the apple, so we didn't all have to die. Now, you can look at human existence from Hebrew history of the Jews, which is about 7,000 years old. Now, let's just say that 7,000 years ago, all the people that were born 7,000 years ago are still alive because Adam and Eve didn't eat the apple. Where do you suppose you keep all these human beings that are still around? From 10,000, where are they going to live? In the ocean? On top of Mount Everest? In the desert? Things die. Dying is uncomfortable, but it's part of, life. What about truth and lies? How would you know something is true if there's no lie? You cannot be short and tall at the same time. You need short people to know you're tall. Being short is not necessarily an attractive thing. Everybody wants to be tall, but you need the short person for you to know you're tall. What about fat people and skinny people? Being fat is unhealthy. Actually, being too skinny is unhealthy too. You got to be somewhere in between. Opposites attract. It's uncomfortable. But the truth of the matter is, every evil that we experience in this world, as painful as this truth is, if we believe that Chineke created everything on earth, that everything on earth has a purpose, then the evil that we experience in this world also has a purpose. Whatever that purpose may be, it's uncomfortable. You don't want bad things happening to you. You do everything to avoid it. But bad things exist. Good things happen to bad people, and bad things happen to good people. That is the truth that you cannot run away from.
That's right.
So regardless of how uncomfortable it is, once you understand what I'm talking about right now, you begin to have the right perspective. Don't look at bad things and look at evil and look at death and look at all this stuff that you see in the world as something that was not supposed to exist. No, that's a lie. That's the opposite of truth. Truth is all these things that make us uncomfortable are part of life. It's just the way it is. A meteorite may come from outer space and blow the world up and end life like it did with the dinosaurs. But that's part of a divine purpose. It's just the way it is. What we need to do is understand this particular truth. Once we understand this particular truth, we start having the right perspective. And one of the most important perspectives that we should have as human beings is an understanding that we are all equal in God's eyes. That's the truth.
That's right. That's right.
Chineke didn't make no mistake creating the Chinese, the African, the European, the Asian. Imagine waking up in the world and everybody is black. No white folks. Now here's the funny thing about what I just said. In ancient times, when people went traveling beyond their borders, they were born seeing the same kind of people, and they died seeing the same kind of people. They never left their boundaries to see that other humans exist. But now we can. Now we understand that God, Chineke, doesn't make any mistakes. And if we understand this truth and understand that everything, every human being, every way of thinking has a divine purpose, all roses are not red, we'll begin to really appreciate the truth of life.
Say it again. Yeah, thank you. Let me give Ichi an opportunity to add his thoughts. And Ichi, I'm going to remove myself. I'm going to remove everybody and give you an opportunity to speak so that we can hear you.
Okay. In reference to a young man with some kind of ritual, of such things. I think that from this perspective, it still comes down to what we are talking about, truth itself. Sometimes, after what's just mentioned to us, there with the narrative. Am I correct in that summation?
Well, we're having a little bit.
Now, it happened in Nigeria. Now, if this young, I say to myself, if we all make something.
Ichi, we're having difficulty hearing you. Is there any way to position your mic so that we can hear you better? It's going in and out. So I'm not getting everything you're saying.
I guess maybe it has to do with the, what do you call it?
We can hear you now. It's much better now.
Okay. So, like I was saying, I think it has to do with our culturalization, so to speak. If this young man, right from let's say, in school system, where the social studies are taught, where good and evil are really right from childhood. because we are now talking about truth itself. Maybe now they will be understand that what actually you just described is stable. I think how to deal with this issue from childhood, because if one is very to what truth is, then you grow up with that and then you can live your life. So I think if you ask me, a whole lot of things, when we go beyond this, and that is providing these qualities that at least what life is all about. Then we have environment for good things. It's a very difficult, would I say, like I said, try to that teach the same. Everybody has a different way of presenting the same truth. So I think.
Okay, Ichie,
yes?
we're having such difficulty hearing you. We're having difficulty hearing, but that's okay. I think I got the gist of what you're saying, and if I'm not correct, you tell me. I think that what you're saying to us is that truth is actually based on what you learned, what you were taught. That it becomes your truth, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So that when somebody perceives something as evil, it may well be that is because we weren't taught that particular thing is evil, right? So we embrace it as our truth because that's what we learned. Am I correct? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Yeah, I think we picked up pretty much of what you're saying, and I apologize that you're having challenges. I know you're in the village, so obviously that's a challenging. It's challenging for.
Next Sunday. That's correct.
Yes, but you can stay with us, please. We want you to stay and just at least hear what we're saying. We want you to still be with us. Thank you. This is one of the things that I think, very honestly, that holds us back. I know that your environment has a lot to do with what you conceive to be the truth, okay? But you can't talk about, you can't stay in something when you see that, okay, I was taught this, but then you see other people are doing something different or are telling you something different. At some point, you should have a level of curiosity to say, why are they saying these things? Well, let me find out. Don't you think? Do you think that we stay in what we are taught, or do we have a responsibility to venture out of our cocoon and find out what else is out there and challenge what we're taught as truth? Your thought. Dozier, this is for you.
Well, let me begin by answering that question. I'll start by commenting on what Dibia Charger said. What we may call the cosmogony of truth.
Mm-hmm.
The Yoruba Ifa says, the big lie also descended from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And when it did, it asked for divination. Divination says to make sacrifice for longevity. And it did. And after it made sacrifice for longevity, to kill one lie, you need layers of lies. And it's upon layers of lies that truth materializes. Also, the Jewish, I think that's Kabbalah, talks about the letters coming before Yahweh, presenting themselves as the foundation for creation. Not to waste much of our time, the letter T came, and Almighty asked the letter T, why must I create the universe before upon thee? He said, because with me, everything is straight. Nothing will be, nothing will go wrong. Everything, nothing will appear bent. Everything will be straight. The cards will be put on the table. Then the Almighty said, well, but truth, you have not mentioned the one very bad thing about you. And truth said, what is the very bad thing about me? He said, with thee is finality. Once the truth is revealed, that is the end of the matter. We are watching films, we see all the intrigues. When the truth is out, that is the end of the film. And so the letter L came, lie, and said, oh, create the universe upon me. Say, why? Because I'm elastic. With me, truth can become lie, lie can become truth, and it's left for people with inquisitive, people who have the power of investigation to decipher the truth, and that keeps life go on. And then the Almighty said, upon thee shall I create the universe, for within thee all things fall in place, and within thee the truth will be discovered. So that is to say, the cosmogony of truth and falsity depends on what Ezenwa Ndibe had just said, personal conviction. And this is why we need to bring up our children on the issue of self-discovery, not education that gives us culture, religion, even education, Western education, African education as the finality of truth. What we should bring up our children upon is on the journey of self-discovery. And to do that, they need to be challenged, to be inquisitive, to be critical.
Mm-hmm. To ask questions.
Always, yeah. I don't know if you hear me.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So we need to, and that is one thing we are doing right now, because I believe that is why Ezenwa Ndibe brought all of us from different perspectives. We don't have, even all of us, we believe in Chineke, but we have different perspectives. And you are more particular about being critical. You love it when people say their mind. You don't like it when people pretend to hide their intent. You want to accommodate people for what they are. That is what it means to have a critical mind, a broad mind, a mind to accommodate as many truths as possible, and to have the courage to seek for unity in the midst of diversity, and the diversity in unity. Because without diversity, there will be no unity, and without unity, there will be no diversity. And so this is one thing that the Western people have tried to do for their own citizens. To discover that there is no discipline you want to study in the West. Philosophy is a must. Why? Because philosophy is all about self-discovery. It's all about critical thinking. We read of Francis Bacon and the 5 idols. And what is the 5 idols about? Idols of the cave, idols of religion, of the schools, things we were taught in schools, things were brought upbringings in culture, in religion, that have presented views, perspectives as the absolute, and have told us not to seek for truth, not to inquire. Like when I was I won't mention the church, I was in Christianity, we were told that beyond this, even to read some other books that are not Christian, we will need to present it before the pastor or the priest, who will tell us the limits we are to inquire. And at the time I got pissed off. Why must the priest direct me about what I should need to understand about physics? So I said, "Me koku." So I don't like people gagging me. So I left. And before I should read my philosophy, I should pray to Mother Mary, and whatever Mother Mary and Jesus Christ asked me to do, that's what I'll do. And so I asked myself, what grade of university did Jesus Christ go to? In terms of knowledge, it's a different thing from wisdom. Did Mary understand philosophy or epistemology or phenomenology? So let me try to understand things my own way.
Yes.
And discover myself. So I think
that's curiosity.
we must take education beyond the 4 walls of the classroom, beyond the walls of the schools, We must take education to the air, which is what you are doing on this program. Taking education online, on the YouTube, on the Facebook, let it float in the air, so that people who are afraid, to read are no longer afraid to read. They are no longer afraid because you are going to listen to people talk, people of different perspectives. They are not going to talk. So the audio and the visual will educate you more for those who are afraid to read the books. So we need to do this more often. Thank you.
You know, I want to this one. I'm directing this to you, Dr. Simone.
Okay.
Because it was a video. It's floating around somewhere, and people are watching it. I don't remember the gentleman's name. I wish I had it to share right now. But he was talking about the truth and the importance of all of us paying attention to what's being fed us as the truth. He talked about the fact that we are told that we are made in the image of God, right?
Yes.
But if we are made in the image of God, then that means God looks like us. That's the truth. If you say that is the truth, then if I want to see Chineke, I must see somebody that looks like me. Even as a female, that's why the K aspect of Chineke. If I see God, I got to see something that looks like me.
Yes.
If you say it in my image. But if I tell you today that for those who believe in Christ, if I say that Jesus is black, you get upset. You don't want to buy into that. I mean, Jesus can't possibly be black. Right? He has blue eyes and blonde hair and all that sort of thing. Right? That's exactly how it's presented to us as the truth. But we don't seem to have enough intelligence to ask the question. And that's what this gentleman was saying. If indeed God made me in his image, I don't have blonde hair and I'm not light skinned. So what does that mean? God is a liar then.
Yes.
Cannot be the truth. You see, but many of us, and I'm talking about people that look like you and I.
Yes.
We don't believe that the image of Chineke, God, whatever, whatever, could ever be like you and me.
Yes.
In our homes, we have all of these images. That's what he was saying. All these images of God. Blonde hair, blue-eyed. Let me ask you guys this question and I'll let you take it from there. If heaven is for those who are what? Who look like God, who are pure, right? And earth, we don't even, the people who brought us this message hardly even want us here. How did they want you in this heaven that you're killing yourself to go to?
Yes, absolutely.
Truth, my people, is important. If you're not accepted here, how are you going to be accepted where? Everybody has blonde eyes and blue eyes. Even those of you who are not blonde and blue eyed, who are white, you think you're going to be welcome in there if that image of God doesn't look like you? Truth is important because in truth, you act a certain way. Now, that may be somebody's truth. It may be, they may believe that to be their truth. But how about you? What do you believe? Whose report shall you believe? And then, Dr. Simone, I want you to take it from here.
Yes, absolutely. I from my perspective, this is from my perspective. I think a lot of people do not follow truth. I think that Chineke has told people the truth, but they refuse to follow the truth, even if they know it's true. I have someone in my family that is Christian, and when I speak to her and I say the truth about coming from a perspective of where I'm coming from, when I tell her things about the Bible and things like that may be questionable. There may be some questions because she's taking things from a literal perspective. And she tells me, I do not want to hear the truth. I don't want to hear the truth because I'm just going to believe what I am going to believe, no matter if you can prove it or not. No matter if you can prove it or not. And you may ask why. Why would a person continue to follow a practice, follow a religion that it has been proven to them that certain aspects are not true? And they are not willing to accept the truth, but will live their life out of integrity because they say, I'm going to believe this if it's true or not. Well, what has come to me, what's come to me is something I call the creative cycle. And the creative cycle is based on our environment, our experiences, and how we respond to that environment and experiences. It gets processed in our subconscious mind, creates a belief, and from that belief, a behavior. And so we have to realize that we are a collective. Who we think we are is a collective of those experiences and that creative cycle going on and on in our life from these experiences that is due to our environment. And until we reframe those beliefs, we will not be able to get to the truth.
Say it again.
We must reframe those beliefs to get to the truth. Do you really want to know China K? Do you really want to walk in truth? Do you really want to, as they say, live the fullness of this life? Because if you do, we must reframe those beliefs that do not serve us. I could not continue to be a Christian knowing what I learned through the knowledge that was given to me, and not only given to me, but I studied. I could not continue down that path. Those beliefs had to be reframed. And it wasn't easy because it was a fear. When I grew up, I learned within Christianity, which was my belief that I grew up in, that doctrine, it perpetuated a lot of fear. If you do not believe this way, or if you question what is being taught to you, you will go to hell. But my friends, let me tell you, heaven and hell is right here on earth.
Thank you. Say it again. Say it again.
One thing, heaven and hell is right here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you that if you do not, I could not personally continue in a religion that was used to keep my people down. Heaven and hell, the concept of heaven and hell when it came to slavery was to allow those slaves to think there was hope, that you would not reach heaven. You would get to your heaven. We're going to work you. We're going to rape you. We're going to do whatever we want to you here, but there will be a heaven that will be better for you. So continue to suffer, continue to take what we are giving you. I personally could not continue in that. And I'm not putting anyone down that is in Christianity. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing, because I feel and I respect people's spiritual walks. But for me personally, when it came to me, when the knowledge came to me, I had to walk in my truth. And I had to have respect for my ancestors. I feel as if I'm going down a path that I feel respects my ancestors that suffered during slavery and after slavery. That is my truth. But what is your truth? Do you really know the truth? Are you really going to reframe these beliefs that do not serve you in order for you to get to the truth?
Mm-hmm.
And in my practice, I do a lot of reframing beliefs. And then people reframing those beliefs, these people break free from a lot of different things that's going on in their life, mentally, physically, emotionally. So truth is very important. When we're living a lie, it is going to cause a lot of dis-ease in our bodies. It will cause dis-ease mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So it is so important that we walk in truth, that we follow Chineke, no matter what that may mean to you. Because for different people, it's a different walk. But what I tell you, my truth is not your truth. But wherever you are, if you're a Christian or Muslim, if whatever religion that you are, walk in truth. Make sure that what you're practicing, what the beliefs that you have is true to you. And do not, if you find something that is not right, do not follow that.
Yes.
But follow truth, because truth is Chineke. Truth is God.
Yes.
Truth is Allah.
Yes.
It's Oludumare. Truth is, that is the creator of the universe, is truth.
That's right.
And there's no getting away from that.
Thank you. You know what, Dr. Simone? Thank you so much for that impassioned presentation. And I want to read something that someone wrote, Akachi Azubike. Truth is logical, empirical, in harmony with natural laws and order of the universe.
Yes.
It is unchanging, but not absolutely unchanging. Truth for me is infinite, and we only know a nano aspect of divine truth that hopefully keeps us in harmony with Chineke, each other, and creation. Succinct. Thank you, Akachi, for that contribution. If you say if you believe in truth and it's not logical, it's not truth, because you have to be able to explain it. It has to make sense. For my part, a lot of things that I want to discover is right there in the universe. It's in nature. Nature presents the truth to me. Nature is the same all over the world. According to a song that we have, life, growth, and death for man, beasts, and plants. Nobody ate Adam's fruit. Their death follows nature's plan.
Yes.
Nature is truth.
Yes.
Because nature is part of Chineke. And anything that tells you to the contrary, anything contrived by another human being, is not the truth. It is their truth. It is what they have concocted to satisfy their understanding of this world of life. And quite frankly, that's what all of us are trying to do, to understand our world. Some of us come up with ideals, stories, whatever, that make us understand. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's your truth. The truth is what has been given to you freely by Chineke. It's all in nature. Life, growth, and death for man, beasts, and the plants. Everyone alone must die his own truth. Death shows no preference at all. Those simple little things are what life is about. That's what the truth is. You cannot argue it. Everybody dies. Who's going to argue that? Everybody grows to some degree until you pass away. There are certain things that are just empirical. They're just things that they're logical and they have truth attached to them. You can prove it. You can prove it. It doesn't involve me trying to put my words into it. You can prove it. It's right there. We talked about, and I just want to raise this right quick. We talked about the Obiobasi. The Obiobasi, building of the Obiobasi. I want to thank those of you who have made your donations, but we need to get started on this. Now, some individuals, I have talked to them personally. There's another account coming from Nigeria. It's kind of difficult for them to use Ogele. So we're working on establishing a format for them to use. But the donation still stands. Cash App, $ Ogele. We can't talk about building the Obasioha, the Obiobase, by just talking about it here. We actually have to make it become a reality. Talk to your friends, talk to somebody, tell them, hey, listen, go and make a donation to Cash App, #Ogele. It's for the Obi Obase. I'm afraid to pull that picture back up because what happens when I do that, it cuts me off. I don't know why it does that. I have to complain to StreamYard why that happens. But if you haven't made your donation and it's scrolling down, it's scrolling on the screen. If you haven't made that donation, make it today. There's no point in us just talking about it. It will never happen. It will never happen. So go today to Cash App, $, Ogele. Make your donation. And what's going to happen is on Chiism, on our website, we are going to actually post the name. Well, maybe not the names because sometimes people don't like their names to be shown. But we are going to post the donations that we're receiving. I don't want to post any yet because I've got to have something. I've got to have something solid that says, hey, the people are in with us before I start posting that. So my question, and I will have to keep asking you, are you about it or you just talk about it? And we don't care what you give. We don't care what you give. If $1 is all you got, so be it. If $2 is all you got, so be it. Little drops of water make a mighty ocean. We need to be about Indebani because let's not talk about what we want to do. And when it's presented to us to do something, then we don't. We sit back and wait for somebody else to do it. If you don't know how you can participate, contact us. Let us know that you're having a difficulty. But I want to see a little bit more action and more support for building the Obasioha, the Obiobase. I keep turning it around, Obiobase. So, Ochaja, you've got 2 minutes. Yeah, well, you've got 3 minutes. I'll give you 3 minutes because we're getting to the half hour. Go ahead.
Yeah, like each year, Onokama Onyoha. Fortunately, he's not on the screen right now with us. But like he talked about at the beginning, it is what you're taught when you're a child that shapes your worldview, yes. Right? And then we talk about the truth. And one of the truths that we know is this, that every human being in their own way, organized or unorganized, systematized or unsystematized, have a way of expressing the necessary gratitude to Chineke. And that this fact is part of how every human being goes about their spiritual business to satisfy the purpose of religion or God worship. Mm-hmm. We all do that, right? Another truth is, I'll give an example. I've given this example, or I gave this example a few, maybe a couple of weeks ago. But the problem with the world, the problem with us as Black folks, is that we're imbibing someone else's spiritual worldview.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. The foreign religions in our communities, in Africa or in all our diasporan communities, didn't get to us because it was something that we actually sought.
Yeah.
It didn't get to us because it fell from the heavens. And we suddenly realized that this is the way to go about our spiritual supplication business. It was forced upon us. It was somebody else's spiritual worldview that was forced upon us for one purpose and one purpose only: control of our minds, and of course our physical being too. It was a way of making us to now forget who we are and start to applaud who they are and start to promote who they are within our own communities, ejecting any sense of cultural responsibility that we have for our children and generations to come. The Eskimo went to the Amazon and told the Amazon to forget the jungle and told the Amazonian to forget the jungle, which is part of their environment, which your environment is pretty much your reason, or your environment shapes your supplication method and your belief in Almighty Chineke, and how you approach God worship is based on your environmental influences.
Mm-hmm.
What has happened to us is that the Eskimo went to the Amazon jungle and told the Amazonian to start seeing snow. And then the Amazonian forgot about the Bible and starts chasing after snow, forgetting that in the hot temperature of the Amazon jungle, the snow will melt and leave you with nothing. That's what's happening to us right now. We have forgotten the environmental influence that was responsible, or that is responsible, for how we saw Chineke in the first place, based on our experiences. That is why you see different religious behaviors, and the only religious behaviors that are not primordial to any community became dominant through what we call imperial patronage. It is the king that established the state religion, and through a policy of blood and iron, forced every person under their realm to become an adherent to that particular spiritual philosophy, because it suited the leadership or the ruler of the clan.
Okay, we're going to go to Dibia Chiodozie. Thank you, Chair. Thank you. Dibia, you got 3 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to shed light further on this issue of truth being logical and empirical and following natural laws. We have theories of truth. We say truth must be empirical, it must be rational, it must be coherent. If it is rational, it must be coherent. If it is empirical, it must correspond to facts, to contents in nature. It must be pragmatic, and it must follow a dialectical process by which no location man map. I must begin the search for truth within myself. I must first obtain self-understanding. When I understand myself, I have to understand myself within the domain of my family. Then I move out to the kindred, I move out to the town, I move out outside my civilization, so that I can gather and weather the storm and see how resilient my truth is. Along the process, I come to see that my father's farm may not be the biggest after all, and I gather knowledge on how to keep my father's farm going in spite of the other challenges. And then from dialectical process of truth, then we can move to our own process of truth. And our own process of truth is hermeneutics. And hermeneutics is where we now attain maturity of combining the ideal and the real, so that we extract a mean. And once we're able to attain that level of always creating a mean balance, which is what Dr. Simeon Ajamu has talked about, for you to be able to depart from, make up your mind, you must have attained the mean between the extremes. And once you are not able to do this, truth is deep to our children.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Simone. You've got 3 minutes.
Okay, I would like to this whole topic. It reminds me, what comes up now is my mother-in-law, my late mother-in-law, of who I just love and her capacity to love was like no other. But what she represented Chineke. She represented Chineke because she was truth. She was truth. Because here in America, she had the courage to go to Africa. She had the courage to find out about her African roots and bring it back to America. In a society that is conditioned for Christianity. A lot of people may not know how hard that is, because I began to do that walk. And it's not easy, because our minds have been conditioned. Our minds, the minds of the people here is still enslaved. And you can face so much by just telling people the truth of who they are. She did not compromise the truth of who we were as a people. And it was her life mission to bring Africa here. That was her life mission. And she did accomplish that. She did it very well and very elegantly. People loved her. Everywhere we go still, no matter what religion they are, if they are Christian, if they are Muslim, they talk about how they love my mother-in-law. And she never compromised the truth. She never compromised what she brought back from the motherland and who we are as a people. I would see her telling people she didn't care about your religion or what you believe, but she would tell you about her truth. And she would tell you where we really came from. And so I encourage you, walk in your truth. Do not let fear overcome you where you are not walking in your truth. Do not fear being outside of the tribe, because you are going to help someone. By me walking in my truth, there are many people that I have helped. The same people that may call me voodoo queen or witch or whatever they want to call me, but there are the same people I have helped heal.
Your time is up. Thank you. I love it. I love it. I think it's important for us to have one understanding about, particularly if we're talking about spiritual truth. If we're talking about spiritual truth, it's important for us to understand that truth is not always something we can see. It's not even always something we can touch. I mean, the environment is part of it. It's part of the story. But a lot of truth about Chineke, the creator, is internal. You know, it's only used in certain situations. Only you and that connection that you have to Chineke reveals what the truth is. You know, sometimes the scriptures, all the other holy books, you know, they all have important information that can lead you somewhat to some level of truth. But that's not what it's all about. As a matter of fact, anyone who tells you or anyone who believes that they have the truth is ignorant, is foolishness. Okay, because truth is a whole lot more than what we know and what we understand. Sometimes truth is not something we even understand. I always want to ask you, do you think in this whole world that we live in, we're the only people in the whole universe? What other creatures exist that we don't know? Is that part of truth? Is that part of universal truth? Yuji, I'm asking, who is it that we don't know? Do we know everything? Do you know all that has breath? There are some things in the ocean. There are some things in the ocean that you and I don't even know. And they're all part of this life. There are so many things. When you think about a child becoming in the womb, becoming a human being, just that little seed becoming a human. There is so much that we know, but there's so much we don't know.
Yes, yes.
So when
Yes,
we talk
absolutely.
about truth, it's imperative that we don't think that we've got all the answers because we are priests, or because we have the Bible, or because we've got the Quran, or we have the Torah, or we have the Nkomi. Those are all just aspects. Those are just things that can help you understand certain truth. But when all is said and done, the biggest truth is the one that is presented to you spiritually, internally, by the Almighty. And sometimes only you know that truth. Sometimes nobody else knows it. That's why we say there's a song that says, nobody's truth is greater than the others. Truth. Some kinds of truth need to be explained, but many cannot. And spending your time trying to explain every truth is a fool's errand. I always use that. So it's important that we don't disparage an African spiritualist because his truth is different from yours.
Yes.
You carry the spiritual texts.
Yes.
They were if you look at your DNA, my DNA, if you look into the history of who you are, your family, it goes back years before the Bible came. You are a part of millions of lives. You just didn't happen. Each one of us, if you can trace, we can't even trace our ancestry to where it began. Just you represent so many lives that have gone on. And they didn't know the Torah. They didn't know the Bible. They didn't know the Quran. They didn't know a whole lot of things. Did they not exist? Did they not matter? What was their truth? What did they hold dear? What was their connection to the Most High?
Yes.
You did 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just hopping on what you just said right now. And Islam is 600 years younger than Christianism. 600 years after that, Muhammad was born, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
Jewish history is 7,000 years old. And that's just stuff that you know about, right? Because through imperial patronage, that particular history permeated the whole world. Because somebody had a bigger gun or a bigger sword, or their sword, their ship sailed the world to be able to spread their gospel, whatever that is. But like you said, what was the world like 2,000 years ago? What was the world like before Judaism came into being? I mean, the idea of heaven and all that is Jewish, Hebrew history. The idea of heaven is Hebrew. It's not Christian. Most people don't know that. But point is, what was the world before Confucianism? What was the world like? What was the world like before Shintoism? What was the world like before Buddhism? What was the world like before Confucianism? What was the world like before we started to worship religious heroes and figures? Because that's where you have the problem. Mm-hmm. Not people involved in the natural manifestation of Chineke. Mm-hmm. People that understand nature. People that are one with nature. People that understand that you have to take care of nature. We as human beings are part of this nature. We have to take care of each other. Mm-hmm. It is when we started to edify a person, a human being, as the Son of God, as having the ultimate authority, as being a mediator between us and the Creator. That's where the problem of the world started. That's where people started to put themselves above others in the hopes of dominating the other races. So we should pay attention to the natural the natural manifestations of Chineke. If we understand that, then we understand that we all have relevance.
And you know what? I think when they talk about born again, to me, what being born again is not being reintroduced back into the lies, being soaked into the lies. That cannot be born again. To me, what being born again is to eliminate all the lies, all the untruths, all the myths, and all of that, and get quiet and silent and become one with the Creator, so that the truth spiritually can begin to be revealed to you. All of us have a responsibility to begin to be born again, not reinvest into the lies, but to be born again in openness, the willingness to now see, okay, here I am, Chineke. What do you want me to know? I put myself in your hands. What do you want me to know? Where do you want me to go? How do I know? What do I learn? But if you say that you're born again and you continue to soak up and eat and drink the same lies, the same mythology, the same things, you're not born again. You're going further and further into depth of nothingness. Nobody has exclusive truth, but you must stand on your truth. Somebody he said, you're not paying attention to me. You're not paying attention. Where are you? Stand on your truth.
No, your speech carried us away to the truth line.
Yes, that's what will guide you where you need to go. You know, when somebody tells me a lie, I say, thank you for sharing. When I say thank you for sharing, that means I didn't hear thank you. Your opinion about me or what I should believe is not going to be my reality today. Mona Chiso, I am one with the Creator. I already know. I already know who guides me, who tells me where I should be. So thank you for sharing. Dali mela chukwu goziegi deje. Keep it moving. I heard you. But all of us must be born into truth again. Reenact your glorious past in the present. The reenactment of what our ancestors knew before the new introduction. Before the introduction of all kinds of things. And please understand what I'm saying to you. It does not mean that other people's truth is not true. It's true to them. But what's your truth? What is yours? If you can regurgitate what somebody else said, okay, tell me yours so I can be able to regurgitate yours. Which one is yours? Which one is yours? Nkporo said that you dance to music, someone else is doing that, and then they'll be clapping for you. You're dancing to music that doesn't even exist. Someone else's truth. They laugh at you. If you want to be respected and honored in this world, you must start by honoring yourself. Honoring yourself, understanding who you are, who you're supposed to be in this world, draw conclusions based on what you have discerned from your connection to the Most High. Everything else are just bumps upon your existence. Chiedozie, you got 2 minutes.
Yeah, let me conclude by shocking you with this statement. There is only one race and it is black, because the DNA science has confirmed that all other races are variations of the black. How about that? So
say it again.
If we take that, pardon?
No, I said say it again.
I said there is only one race and it is black.
Yes.
Because if we go by the DNA science, it says all other races are variations of the black. So I am not saying this is the truth or it is absolute. But what I'm saying is that in sum, what we're saying is that we must begin to search the truth through the way of self-rediscovery.
Yes.
We must, and after we have discovered ourselves within our culture, we must plant our roots in the foundations of our culture, in the soils of our culture, and dig deep and deeper, like the Iroko tree, our tap roots in the soils of our culture. Then we begin to reinvent our solid state philosophy in the new light of contemporary challenges. And that becomes the truth for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Simona, 2 minutes.
Yes, I just want to say, I think that we need to reconnect. I know from a African American perspective, we need to not only follow the truth, but seek the truth, because we've been lied to for so long. We're still being lied to. And so we need not only to seek to follow the truth, we need to seek the truth, because there is a lot of lies that has happened through our journey of trauma, generation after generation. I know the trauma was so profound in my family. I grew up with my great-grandmother and my great-aunts. I went over there every day. And that was a blessing, because they had enough longevity for me to have a relationship with my elders, my true elders in my family. But one thing that I remember quite vividly is that there was so many secrets. And the secrets were there because in the past, you couldn't tell the truth. You can die because of the truth. But we're no longer there. We can tell the truth now. And we need to learn about not only the traditions that we are in now, that are what we thought our ancestors in America was following, which more than likely was Christianity and the church. But let's get familiar with the God of our ancestors. Our ancestors that came over here. Let's get familiar and learn the truth so that we can walk in authenticity and integrity with ourselves, not just following the trauma. Because we're following the trauma. Are we following trauma? Or are we following truth? And when we learn the truth, please go in that direction.
Thank you. I am so proud of all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on this show. And as you well know, we're going to be here again next Sunday, same time at 10 a.m. But I want to ask all of you to remember, please make your donations. Don't talk about it, be about it. It's going down, as you can see. Cash App, I'm counting every day who is making this donation or who is just here to talk. So thank you all. This has been an exciting show. Thank you, Chiedozie, Dibia Chiedozie, Guru, Dibia Ochoada, Dr. Simona Monet, and certainly myself, your host, Dibia Dr. Wonyo Hosimiri. We will see you all again next Sunday. Be here and hear more, learn more. That's what we're all about. Thank you for all of you who joined us at Chiism Live, and those who joined African Spirituality on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you, all of you, and we're looking forward to seeing you next time on Chiism Live. And so it is. Good day.
Anyị na-eto Chineke onye kere ụwa. Anyị na-eto Chineke eke kere ụwa. Anyị na-eto Chineke onye kere ụwa. Anyị na-eto Chineke eke kere ụwa maka ihe ọma niile o mere anyị. Anyị ekele Chineke, anyị ekele onye kere ụwa maka ihe o mere anyị. Anyị na-eto Chineke, anyị ekele Ọkatọnda, anyị ekele Olodumare maka ihe o mere anyị. Ọ nọ n'aka nri n'ihu anyị, n'azụ anyị, n'aka ekpe. Ọ nọ n'aka nri n'ihu anyị, n'azụ anyị, n'ihu anyị. Anyị ekele Chineke, anyị ekele Chineke, anyị ekele onye kere ụwa maka ihe o mere anyị. Anyị ekele Yame, anyị ekele Ubangiji, anyị ekele Nkosi maka ihe o mere anyị. Anyị na-eto Chineke, ekele dịrị Katọnda, anyị ekele Olodumare